Welcome back, Thriftism viewers. Today we're going to go over a quick tutorial sort of how to budget. We have a few other short videos on why you should budget and why it's a good idea and kind of basics on it, but we'll actually walk you through an online budget today. If you haven't already watched those videos, feel free to do that. A budget shouldn't be limiting. It should actually free up, make you feel more reassured because you'll know where your money's going, and it'll help you plan for if there's a big purchase you want to make. Having this budget will help you get there without going into debt. So the site I'm using right now is Everydollar.com. That's one that we use. There are several others. Mint is an example of that. So feel free to use whatever one is your favorite. You can check out a few of them. We'll also go over in a different video of how to budget using an Excel sheet / paper pencil if you like that method better. So if that's your preferred method, be sure to check that out. But for now, we're on Everydollar, so you will have to sign up, and all you will need is an email address and your name. You don't have to put in bank accounts or anything. Some accounts or some sites let you link your accounts. We don't usually do that just because we're maybe a little paranoid about we don't need more people having our credit card information or our bank account information. Plus, a lot of the sites you have to pay to have those linked, and it just doesn't seem worth it when I'm perfectly capable of tracking things. So we're in January 2018 here. So to start, you would click Start Your First Budget after you've signed in. And this one's kind of nice. It reminds you every month to start over. So here you can add as many as you want. And for us, since right now race is not working, and in the future we're going to put all of his money towards savings, so we would just say what my income is. So right now, this is our basic monthly income. And once you get in there, you can always add transactions up here. So let's say I got paid. We could come in and say add new and put in, okay, well on Friday I got $1,200. That was one paycheck, right? And I didn't spend this money. It was income. So you can choose where did this come from? Ashley work. So it's pretty easy to track too. Apparently it's still thinking about this. Like I said, you can try premium to have it automatically upload your cards. But I also am planning on tutoring this month, so I would say tutoring, and let's say I'm going to earn $100. And that's my goal for the month. So now that's the income side. If you have more income, like dual income, you can put both of those in there. I typically use after tax, after healthcare, like your take-home pay for this number. But if you want, you can use your base, before everything's taken out. But then I would say in savings you have to add retirement, and you'd have to add your healthcare. So I use just what I take home because it's easier for me to not include the things that are already taken out. So giving, if you want to add in, say you typically give to, oops, sorry about the move there, hopefully you can see again. So let's say you typically give to your church. So then you can budget in that amount. A good idea is to have an emergency fund. So if we come in here, you can also add fund details. Because this is an emergency fund, you're not going to save it all up in 1 month. So let's say you're starting with 0 and like for us, 3 to 6 months expenses. If we're earning $2,400 a month and we want that times 3, that would be $7,200 that we would need. Otherwise, if it was 6 months, we would want to look more at the $14,000 to $15,000 range. I'm going to refocus you here, so bear with me. Hopefully it'll get a little better there. Sorry, I'm not sure why our camera here is not focusing very well, but Alright, so now we have a savings goal. We're not going to fill out how much planned yet because I'm going to go through our required expenses before I put into savings. So our mortgage, we are on a 15-year mortgage, so it might be a little bit more expensive than some other ones, but I have that in there. We don't have HOA dues, so I can actually delete this item. And for us, our city, water, sewer, everything is all on one bill. So I'll put that in there and then type in our typical bill of about $150 every month. Natural gas, that is our heating. So then we can type in a number here and let's say it's $80. Well, I already included my electricity in my city bill, so I can delete that. You can keep yours separate if you pay for them separately. We also have a very affordable phone plan. Right now, Race is still getting his phone paid through work, so it's just mine. And mine is $43.75 with tax every month. And that is through AT&T, and I get unlimited data, unlimited everything, but I did use a used phone, so that's why that's so cheap. We don't have cable, but we do have Netflix, and that right now is $12.87. I believe that's going up, but I will have to double check that in the future. Our garbage is included in the city utilities, but I am also going to include our internet. So they don't have that on there. And this one we pay almost $56 a month. So that's kind of all of our housing costs. And as you can tell at the top, it keeps me with a number of what do I have left to budget. So now we're getting into gas and oil. And we usually budget around $150 a month, or $100 to $150 a month for transportation. You can also put in title and taxes if that's coming up. That's not every month, so we don't include that every month. But you can also do a fund. So for any of these, if I click on this one, I can make this a fund if I want to have a savings fund for a car replacement. Right now, we are not looking at that because we have cars that are in well working order. But let's say I do want to make this a fund. Just click make it a fund. And then again, we have a zero starting balance unless you already have something saved up. Let's say you want a $15,000 car. So then this will track it for you as you go, and it'll track month to month as you put money in to show when you can afford that car. Next, we're going on to groceries. Again, we have kind of a lower budget for this. You can have a very cheap budget if you are making your own food. So this is just telling you how much we spend. $150 is kind of the high end of our food budget. Again, we eat plenty. We still have junk food. We have very good meals, and we eat meat, so it's not like we're leaving anything out. So if your grocery budget is like $500 a month, that's fine if you have the money to do it. Just make sure you're tracking it. If you're trying to cut that down, check out some of our other videos on that, or just try harder to make things from scratch. You can do meal prep on Sundays. We'll have more videos coming out about that. Because convenience foods can really eat into your budget. Again, with restaurants, we usually say about $50. If you have a family of 8, that's going to be very hard to eat out for $50 even once. But restaurants can really eat into your budget too if you're eating out all the time. Next, we're going into our lifestyle items. We don't have pet care, so I can get rid of that one. Make sure to leave that in. That would include pet food, vet visits, medications, grooming, anything like that. Be sure to budget for that. We also don't have child care or school tuition. I guess here, your lifestyle, you could put subscriptions on Netflix. I consider that a utility since we do not have cable. But like clothing, we typically don't spend much. We make this one kind of a fund where we'd say about $50 a month. We'll up that or lower it depending on the month. And once I get through this, any extra money, I'll come back and put that in. So we also typically would say $50 a month in entertainment. So if we want to go out for drinks with friends, that can go under entertainment and not just eating out also. Health insurance right now, I think ours is about $50 a month after we pay for our work, helps pay for that. We're not paying for life insurance right now. And auto insurance, I don't budget this every month. Again, if you wanted to, you could make this into a fund and say, like, every month I have to be setting aside $20 in this account to pay for my insurance. We usually are okay with our cash flows that we can look at that like the month ahead or the month of to pay for that, so we don't have that. Then down here you can add debt. If you have credit cards, you can put that in. We still have a student loan, and that one is you put in your minimum payment here. So for us right now, we paid off a few of the student loans, so we're down to a $54 minimum payment, but we still have $2,500 left. So then when we come in to track that, it'll tell you how much extra you paid off. And then there's a thing on the side here that'll show you where you're at. So that's just a few things in there. A few other categories you might have is if you wanted to add like vehicle maintenance into your transportation, or if you're taking the bus, you could add that in. A home renovations category might be something you have. Home supplies and lifestyle here, instead of being miscellaneous, you might have home supplies. You might also have a travel category of this is how often I want to travel, and you can actually make that into a fund also if you want, and say, at the end of this year I would like to be able to take a $2,000 trip, and that would be in your lifestyle, and then you can add that in. A few other things, if you have work expenses, plan for that. Don't just put them on a credit card and hope they pay you back. You might want to make that a sinking fund too, of like starting it out and then paying that off ahead of time. You don't want to be carrying credit card balances if possible. A few other things that savings, besides your emergency fund, you might have a retirement account in there, an IRA, or you might have college savings. Under giving, you might also have something like gifts. So we just got out of Christmas season now, so that one's not as big, but you'll still have birthdays and stuff coming up. Or you can also make this one a fund and start saving for next Christmas if you need to. Medical, you might also have prescriptions, health club dues, anything like that. Otherwise, so to see, I still have $422 left. That's because I don't have our car insurance in there, so I could add that one in. I also don't have our home renovation budget in there. So if I wanted to put that in there under housing, our goal right now is to be saving about $165 a month towards a house renovation. Right now that's a little bit lower, again, with race not working. But that's one thing that we need to add in there. Another thing is our travel budget under our lifestyle. I'd also put about $50 in miscellaneous just to give us some leeway here. And that, it kind of includes any prescriptions we have and stuff. And this is relatively low. We're very healthy. Otherwise, I would up that to $207. In fact, maybe I'll even up this to $150, just, be on the safe side in case something happens. And then the rest of that for me is going to go into $107. $37 is going into travel. So add categories and take them away as you see fit. But this is just a really easy, and you can add more groups if you have it. But up at the top here, it'll show you that it is an Everydollar budget, meaning you budget every cent of your money. This also tells you where your planned expenses are and how much. Now our housing budget looks super high on this because we're only living off of my income. If you're using all of your income, this number should be about 25%, maybe 35%, but you don't want to get anywhere close to 50% because that'll mean you're really tight on your budget and you're really struggling. This also has a place where you can say spent. I haven't spent anything yet, but it'll update that. So let's say I went grocery shopping. I'll add a transaction here, and I spent $45 at Sam's Club. So we can track that expense, and it will then add it over on our list over here that we have one transaction. If I close out of that, now I can go to spent, and it says, oh, you spent $45 here. It'll also tell you your remaining budget, so it makes it really easy to see, okay, well now our food, I only have $155 left. Another way to do that is over here under the remaining tab. I can click that and go to spent, and now it'll tell me how much I spent in green, or you can stay under remaining and say, oh, I only have $105 left for groceries. So this is a really easy way to do it. You can also come over here. Oh, the baby steps over here. If you follow Dave Ramsey, this is his plan. We don't follow that exactly, but it's still a really great program. It does tell you, okay, that his baby steps are to save $1,000 first, so it tells you how much you've saved. It also tells you how much you've paid off on your debts and how much of your emergency fund you've saved. So you can kind of update that through there. Another nice thing about this one is if you have a smartphone, we can go to, you can download the Everydollar app, and then you can go to your phone. I'll try and show you here. It's opening up right now. This makes it really easy to budget on the go. Okay, there's my January budget. I put how much money I have coming in, all of that. So let's say I went and paid the mortgage. So I could go in here and click add. I paid $1235.06 on the mortgage, and you can add a split. So if you went shopping, you picked up a prescription that you wanted to go under medical, and you picked up oil for your car, you can add a split on here in any of those categories. I obviously didn't do that. I just paid the mortgage. So then I can save that, and it tells me I have $0 remaining in that budget item. And so again, here you have the green bar to show you how far you are. You can also go into spent, and it tells you how much you've spent. And the remaining tab tells you how much you have left that you can spend in there. So this is great because you can kind of say like, oh, I don't really need to buy another coffee until next month when my restaurant budget is refilled. So those are just a few basics of how to budget online. Again, use whatever program you think works best for you. Otherwise, that is our legitimate budget. I can show you our spreadsheet in the next one where we go over how to budget in Excel, and I will show you that, and we'll keep updating that. If you check out our blog or follow the channel, we will be updating our budget to show you that you can live on that tight of a budget. So if you're someone that your whole household income is only making that $2,400 a month, you can get by, you can save up. That's kind of if you follow our channel, we'll show you how you can do that, because that is what we're doing. So be sure to check back if you want to see our budget. We'll be updating that monthly. Otherwise, hope this helps you get started. It's a really great idea to do, great to start at the beginning of the year. You can have a looser budget than we have. Feel free to spend more money than that. But our goal is to not take on debt, pay off the credit cards every month, and, just kind of save up for the things that matter. So like our travel budget ends up being bigger, and we have a lot more money going into our retirement account just because we're only living on one income. If you have several children, if you have 4 more kids, this might be harder to get by on that kind of grocery budget, but you can still get by cheaper than, I don't think you need to be spending $500 a month unless you're buying convenience foods, or if there, I mean, you can if you have enough income to do that. But we're here to show you that you don't need to. And check back in for how to budget using Excel. Thanks for joining us.